Hello and welcome to the Uplifted Hand. Today we're going to go over Job 12 through 14 and 19. Okay, so starting off with Job 12. Since we left off in chapter 3, a lot has happened, but basically his friends have been trying to explain his suffering. Their reason is God is just, God punishes wickedness, and Job is suffering terribly, so Job must be hiding some terrible sin, right? But we already know from chapter 1 that Job was upright. So Job finally pushes back. No doubt, but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. Basically, apparently, you three know everything. And this gets right to the Come Follow Me's question. What did Job know about God that helped him keep trusting? And Job knew that God was wise. He knew that God was powerful. He says those things right here. What he rejects is the idea that his friends understanding everything God is doing. God was bigger than their explanation of him. And if his friends don't have the answer, Job wants to speak to the one who does. Now we're going to kick it off with Job 13, verses 1 through 14. What?
Let's kick it off. Let's do it.
Surely I would speak to the Almighty. Job is done hearing the theories about why he's suffering. He wants to take his questions directly to God. And he realizes that his friends are doing something dangerous. They're so determined to defend God's justice that they're willing to falsely accuse Job to make everything fit into their own minds. He calls them physicians of no value, which basically means your diagnosis is wrong and you're not helping me. Job doesn't know why this is happening either, but instead of pretending he has no questions, his faith gives him somewhere to take them. He returns to God, or returns towards God. And that's what makes his next words so powerful. Jumping into Job 13, 15 through 28. Though he slay me, yet I will trust in him. This is the title of our entire Come Follow Me this week. But listen to what happens immediately afterward. Job keeps questioning. Show me my sin. Why do you hide your face from me? So, yet will I trust in him. Doesn't mean Job just suddenly understands. Trust and questions are happening at the same time. Job can essentially say, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand why this is happening, but I'm still bringing it to you. And then his question becomes even bigger. Not just why am I suffering, but what happens when life itself ends? Okay, Job 14. Job describes human life like a flower. It grows, it's cut down, and then it's gone. But a tree is different. Cut it down and only an old stump remains. But then Job says that at the scent of water, it can bud and grow again. Then comes the question, if a man shall die, or if a man die, shall he live again? And Job isn't asking that casually. He's a father who had just lost his 10 children. He's looking at something that appears dead and finished, yet somehow lives again. Could God do that with us? Job doesn't answer it yet. But we have to carry that question with us into chapter 19. Job 19, 1 through 24. And by chapter 19, Job feels like he's lost nearly everyone. His relatives are gone. His friends have forgotten him. His household treats him like a stranger. And then 3 friends who originally silently sat beside him are now saying words that are breaking him into pieces. Have pity upon me. Have pity upon me, O ye my friends. This is why Come Follow Me has us read verses 1 through 22 before Job's famous testimony. We need to understand where that testimony is coming from. Job feels completely alone. And then he says he wishes his next words could be written down, even engraved permanently into rock, because what he's about to say, he wants it to be remembered. Going into verses 25 through 29, for I know that my Redeemer liveth. Suddenly, pieces start to come together. Job has wanted someone who could truly hear his case. He's wondered whether people or a person can live after death. He's lost the people who once stood beside him, and now I have a Redeemer, and he lives, a redeemer who was someone who could stand for another person, defend their cause, and act on their behalf. And Come Follow Me points us directly to Jesus Christ. But then Job speaks of seeing God even after the destruction of his body. So we have to go back to the question, if a man die, shall he live again? But now here's his answer. I know that my Redeemer liveth. Nothing around Job has been restored yet. But this is why Come Follow Me asks, how do I know that my Redeemer lives? And what difference does knowing that make when I'm still waiting for answers? Then Job ends with a warning to his friends. If his Redeemer really will stand for him, then there really is a judge. And his friends should be careful about condemning him, because eventually that judge is going to speak. Boom! Tomorrow we're going to go over Job 21 through 24. We're getting into it. It's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed this chapter very much.
Yeah, and if we had more time to speak, we totally would. But that's what the point of these new discussions are going to be.
We'll talk about it on Sunday.
Yeah, see you there. Boom!